Everybody say hello to the GoPro, but do it silently, otherwise it may turn itself off. It will overheat, so, also give us a little thoughts to the overheating process. Anyway, we're back again. It's a habit of mine. We're back with the Columbus Coffee Festival Brew Box and the Roaster Guide. Yesterday, we hit up, let's see if I can remember, Stoff's Coffee, and what was the other one? Oh, the Boston Stoker. So Stoff's and Boston Stoker. Boston Stoker. There it is. There he is right there. Jesse Blair. Fruit Flava. Enjoy the explosion of flavor we call Buona Frutta. A blend that combines our favorite fruit-forward coffees from East Africa and the Americas. And then the other one was Stoff's Coffee. Micro Lot Coffee. Visit one of our locations around Columbus. So there we go. Today we're going to do Sappho and Her Beans. The Sumatra provides a bright, nutty note to an otherwise more mellow and chocolate-tasting coffee. And that's what this is. 2.5 ounces. I'm going to run a couple of beans through here to kind of clean out what we've got. So Columbia again, gorgeous, beautiful place, full of wonder and excitement, and we're just, yeah, I know, honey, we're gonna cut the freshness saver off, just because my fingers don't work like that. All right, hot drop a little bit in there. There we go. Ooh, that smells so nice. What a nice smelling coffee. I will say that that does smell very cherries. That is what that brings to mind, that smell. Let's do our 30-ish and see what it leaves us with here. So yeah, so Columbia, Medellin, we had a wonderful time. The amount of malls, and I know I keep getting a little pushback saying, well, it's not that. No, but to me, it's all to me. It's kind of my world, me. When you're sitting here alone with your thoughts all day editing stuff, there's a lot of me thoughts. I don't think that's a bad thing, but it's just like, for me, let's move this down to a 60. I want to try that. I think we were at a 60 yesterday. Yeah, so there's little numbers here, and then there's these little ticks here. I had this off yesterday to show Tim, who stopped by. We went to dinner last night. He'd not seen the toys, and he's like, you know what? One day, because his first time with coffee, I tried to make it as fun as possible. So I bought a Bones Coffee flavored one for him to try for his first attempt at coffee, and he didn't like it. And then he's like, well, maybe if I just had regular coffee, it would taste good. And I'm like, okay, well, you know what? When it's not... When it's not 9 o'clock at night, we will go through the motions. And, ooh, that smells very fruity. That's very nice. I'll make you a cup of coffee if that ever comes up. We'll do it the way I do it, and see if you enjoy it. Because, you know, like, and I agree, you know, the coffee mixed with an actual flavor like that may have been off-putting enough to be like, I don't like this, and that's fine. And it may be different because regular coffee tastes a great deal different than, you know, Bones coffee. And he says, I love the smell of coffee. So, you know, that might translate into just, you know, liking a regular cup of coffee. So someday we'll give that a try. But it wasn't last night because it was 9 o'clock at night. I'm hobbling because between the last day in Colombia and the second flight we got on, I bruised my heel. And day before yesterday, which was Monday, it was peak pain. Yesterday got a lot better, but I think it had a lot to do with me being downstairs and on the carpet rather than being up here on the hardwood. So yesterday it got a lot better. It started feeling really good. I mean, the pain hadn't gone away, but it still hurt. So I'm wearing my flip-flops inside. These are UFOs. They are very springy and very, yes, that's the word. And so I'm hoping that while I'm up here on the hardwood, that will help dampen everything and maybe it'll settle back down into mild ache rather than throbbing pain. It hurt a lot last night. I couldn't get comfortable because my foot hurt. And then, of course, Matt said, well, why don't you call your care provider and then maybe we could get some physical therapy. And all I could think was, what is physical therapy going to do about a bruise? I don't know. I don't know if it's a bruise. I do know that it's not what affects my left foot, which is definitely a muscle issue that comes up every once in a while. People say the word plantar fasciitis. I've not been diagnosed with that. From what I've read, it's very close, if not the exact thing that I feel. But, you know, I'm not going to just start throwing out diagnoses just because it's not fair to the people who have put forth the effort to go get the diagnosis. So, you know, it just hurts. I could go get a diagnosis, but, you know, I could go get a diagnosis. It's just a matter of want. I don't know if I want to bother. So we're blooming right now. I forget. I have to go back and watch the video to see how much water he puts in order to, you know, start the blooming in order to do like the 2-minute thing. I'm going to let it go for about a minute. And then we'll start pulsing up to around 350, and then go from there. So anyway, so we went on a ceramics tour while we were there, which was really cool. They showed us the old way that they used to do it, and then we went through the steps of the modern way that they're using right now. They used to use horses. They would bring the clay in. They would actually mine the clay in the area of the town, but conservation efforts to keep the region stable moved that production south of where the plant exists. So they actually have the clay trucked in where it's not an area where people are living. So it's not messing with the local topography. And so they have it trucked in now, but they used to mine the clay in the town. And then they would bring the clay in, and then they would have horses trample on it to soften it up, which was absolutely fascinating. They had pictures of it. They didn't have a horse there, but they had pictures of what the steps were that they took in order to do that. So they had a horse come in, they put in a circle, and then they just lead the horse around for a little while. And then they would tromp on the clay, and then the clay would soften the clay. And also they have additives that they put in so that would help mix the clay up. And then they had molds. The stuff that they use now, the slurry that they use now is very, very wet, but also very would the word be viscous? Very thick. It looks a lot more liquid than it actually is, which is very interesting. But it's a very viscous slurry, and they pour it in the molds, and they make cups, and they make bowls. They make flatware. Oop, I went up a little too high. All right, we'll just fill it out to 400 then. I meant 350, got 400. It's okay. It is all right. And we'll give it a little bit of a... Okay, well, that's a very nice smelling coffee. Cool, I like that. Oh yeah, we'll do the beans here. So the Columbus Coffee Festival Brew Box came with chocolate covered espresso beans, and so trying to gauge what this is. It's white chocolate, and it looks like there's a little bit of milk chocolate in there. And the coffee bean is right in the center. And they're roasted dark so that when you bite into them, they break apart. If you were to like bite into one of these, it would be really kind of spongy and fibrous. So they roast the hell out of them. This isn't bad. Yeah. So various varieties of coffee beans covered in chocolate. Yep, they've always been a little hit and miss, haven't they, bud? Yeah, they have. Always been a little hit and miss with chocolate covered coffee beans. So, and this is a Colombian peso. This is 200. GoPro gave me a card error. It didn't give me a heat error this time. It said your card's not fast enough. And I'm like, I've been using this card for over a year now. Maybe that's the problem. These cards do degrade. They're just the little flash cards. So there's only so much you can really put on them before they just start being like, nah. So we'll try to get through this as quickly as possible. And then to format these damn things, it takes forever to format. So we may have to reformat this one after I get the stuff off of it. And I do have another card downstairs that I can use. But yeah, it just gave me an error saying, you can't record on this card. Get a faster card. I'm like, it's the same card. Oh well. This might have been a little bit too fine of a... See, there's still water. It's been a 6 minute, and there's still water in there drawing down. I'm gonna try to release some of the pressure and see if that helps. That's funny. Should give this a fair shake though. I'm pretty excited. But see, now I'm still chewing on the coffee bean. I could swallow it, I guess, but I'm still chewing on the fibrous coffee bean, which is honestly not ideal. That's why they're kind of hit and miss. You get rid of the nice chocolate, and then you just got coffee bean. So, okay, there we go. That's good. I'll just pop that off of there. Put it over here. Viola. Oh, I found the chocolate. This is the high percentage of cacao chocolate. Little mounds, almost like truffles. We're gonna put one of those in an espresso. I don't think they're designed to like sit on a thing and then have the espresso drizzled over it to dissolve. We can give that a try though. It does have like a teardrop shape, so it could kind of waterfall cascade over top of it. I just need a device to hold it in place while the coffee kind of drains, the espresso drains over top of it. We can give it a try at some point. But anyway, sorry, I was talking about this. This is the Colombian peso. Oh, it's 200 pesos. I forget what that translates to. Less than 25 cents maybe? 200 pesos? It's really interesting to try to gauge because their bills are in like millions. So you get like a 1 million peso, 2 million peso, 100 million pesos, 10 million pesos. It's, and then the exchange rate is some kind of math. Matt figured it out. I didn't have to, so I don't. That's a very nice smelling coffee. Yeah, so I'll go down and I'll edit this, and then we'll pull out another coffee, and do it all over again. We'll have 2 again today. Why not? I mean, this is not espresso. This is just regular coffee, so it shouldn't kill me. I'm used to drinking two cups of coffee a day, so. Ooh. Yeah. Okay. Bright nuttiness, metal undertones of chocolate and cherries. You get that too, bud? Yeah. Ooh. It's very bright. It's got a nice bright flavor to it. Not sour. A little bit of tartness like a cherry. Just these are just hints. These are just things that I'm getting while I'm drinking it. So it's like a little hint of tartness like a cherry. Chocolate is always a given because you can coffee can more likely, if it's unmolested coffee, the chocolate kind of just is always like a chocolate thing. If it's a light roast, there's a less chocolatey taste. If it's a medium roast, there's a definite chocolatey taste. And if it gets dark, you start getting more bitter notes sometimes. That's really nice. Yes, very cherry. A nice nuttiness to it, I'd say. Sappho and Her Beans coffee. If you see that around Columbus, pick that up, give it a try. Sumatra, Ethiopia, Duramina. She's got a little thingy right there. Scan that to find her. 2.5 ounces. Yeah, about another cup and a half of coffee right there. So that's very generous for a sample pack. So everybody's out mowing today. So yeah, the mowers are out. We got to notice breaking down the mowing schedule, which is always just funny because it's like a group of old people within the community are going to start complaining about how much they have not mowed the grass. Because the schedule they start at a higher blade, so not like 2 inches, but maybe 3 inches. And then they start working themselves down throughout each mow in order to get to a certain height, which I don't know. I guess that makes sense. I don't know anything about mowing. When I would mow, it would just be at a certain height, and that was it back in, I don't know how many years ago, when we had a house to mow with. Now it's a condo with people mowing for us, which I am all for. This is delicious. Definitely, if you find Sappho and Her Beans coffee out there, give it a shot. It's actually very delicious. Yeah, it's got a nice tart cherry note to it. It's very bright. Little to no bitterness, and like a nice little nutty kind of finish. Very good. We'll come back with another coffee after I get this edited and started processing into the YouTubes. And then we will come back and I'll open up another coffee up here after I get the other card, because I don't trust this one anymore. This one will be formatted. And we'll go from there. Thank you for watching today. I really appreciate it. We'll be back in a little bit. Have a good day. Bye.